Hello, everyone, and welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 9-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I would greatly appreciate that. And then don't forget to check out my KJK DFS NBA package, link below in the description. You get access to my projections on DraftKings and FanDuel, my core plays, team stats summary, team stats, 4 factors, lots of good stuff determining who is good on the offensive glass, defensive glass, etc. And then stay tuned to the end of the video for my lock of the night tonight. The guy that I'm most likely to lock into all my lineups could be upper range, mid range, low range, all of the above, depending upon the slate. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. First game on the slate, we got Indiana taking on Orlando. This game right now comes in with a 219.5 over under with a 4.5 point spread in favor of the Indiana Pacers. So expected to be pretty slow paced. Not exactly the top fantasy game to target. With a 4.5 point spread, it is expected to stay somewhat close. We got Domantas Sabonis and Malcolm Brogdon listed as questionable in this one. As far as their latest update, Domantas Sabonis is a true questionable, and Malcolm Brogdon is also a true questionable. So that's going to definitely impact the rotation and usage. With these guys being out, we're going to have a lot more interest in Caris LeVert specifically at 7-6. Definitely going to have a lot of interest in him if they continue to be out because his usage is just going to be through the roof. Last time, only putting up 31 DraftKings points in a game that ended at 141 to 137, so that was a bit surprising. But he's still going to be the number one target. TJ McConnell at 5'6" was a guy we saw really have a big game in that one, 49 DraftKings points, so we'll continue to play him if these guards are out. And then we can play Doug McDermott, Justin Holiday, and Jeremy Lamb as well. Those three guys should expect to take on a lot more responsibility, specifically Jeremy Lamb is a guy that I really like to play if he plays some more minutes and has more usage. Put up 38 DraftKings points the time before last time out. Last time only put up 19, but a guy that has lots of upside when he gets opportunity. And on the Orlando side, we're really playing Terrence Ross, Wendell Carter Jr., Michael Carter Williams. Those three guys are going to soak up a bunch of usage in this one. Terrence Ross only priced at 6'3". I think he can really exceed that price tag. Wendell Carter Jr., same rule applies to him at 6K. And of course, Michael Carter Williams as the point guard. I have no issues with going to him either. Putting up 40 and 35 DraftKings points the last 2 games. Could definitely be playing him. Only issue is Cole Anthony is healthy now, but working his way back slowly until we really start to see him see full minutes. Not too worried. And then we got RJ Hampton at 4-5. No more Otto Porter Jr. I think RJ Hampton's a great play at 4-5. Continuing to see a pretty good amount of minutes. And Gary Harris is now healthy as well. So the only issue is they're getting a little too healthy. Gary Harris is going to be back, so how the rotation goes is a whole other story. Minnesota taking on Boston. This game right now comes in with a 228.5 over-under with a 8.5 point spread in favor of the Boston Celtics. Boston expecting to win this one fairly easily. We do have Karl-Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and D'Angelo Russell all listed as healthy now. D'Angelo Russell coming off the bench, but he only is 6'3". He can get there in a hurry, so he's a decent tournament play. Anthony Edwards at 7'7" continues to be priced up quite a bit, but he's continuing to play mid-30s to upper 30 minutes, so I have no issue with that. And then Karl-Anthony Towns at 10'9". These three guys are really going to be the focal points in the Minnesota side. So those three guys are going to have interest every single time they take the floor. On the Boston side, they get a great matchup taking on this Minnesota squad that's not really good defensively. There continues to be no Evan Fournier, so guys like Marcus Smart, Kemba Walker get a slight bump up there, but they don't have to worry about him taking away their usage. And I do think that they're great options to target. In this one, like I mentioned, a great matchup, as well as Robert Williams at 6'5". Like those guys with their price tags. And then Jaylen Brown at 8K, Jason Tatum at 9K obviously are the top upside guys. I would prefer Jaylen Brown at the $1,000 discount to Jason Tatum, but both are going to be very viable in this matchup taking on this team in Minnesota that's not good defensively, so like them for sure. Memphis taking on New York. This game right now comes in with a 214 over-under, 1.5 point spread in favor of the Memphis Grizzlies. Expected to be a very slow game. And for that reason, it's going to be kind of tough to target from a fantasy aspect. You got Julius Randle, RJ Barrett continuing to see big minutes on the New York side, but they are pretty healthy now. And you got a really loaded rotation. You know, Derrick Rose is back. So really, these two guys are the ones I'm looking to target. Anyone else on this team is a little dicey. Alec Burks, Derrick Rose, 4'8" and 4'9". I mean, Derrick Rose can definitely get you there in the mid-20 minutes. If he gets hot, you know, he'll start scoring in bunches. Same rule applies to Alec Burks. It's just the rotation so loaded now. I'm having a hard time going there. On the Memphis side, the same rule kind of applies. I like the pay-up options in Jonas Valanciunas and John Morant. They're going to be the two main beneficiaries as far as usage is concerned. And if I'm having to go outside of them, I will be going to Dylan Brooks and Kyle Anderson. I continue to say it, these two guys as well. Seeing around 30 minutes a game and can both get you there in a hurry. Both good fantasy point producers. Kyle Anderson specifically a lot less scoring dependent than Dylan Brooks is. So him, really playing well lately, and I have no issues with you going to him. Chicago taking on Atlanta. This game right now comes in with a 227 over-under with a 2.5-point spread in favor of the Atlanta Hawks. Pretty good pace game here, and I definitely do like the game from a fantasy aspect as far as defense is concerned. Clint Capella, Danilo Gallinari both listed as questionable. If they're out, could see some more minutes for Okongwu. Sorry for pronouncing his name terribly, but on the Atlanta side. And then for Danilo Gallinari, if he continues to be out, that's going to be a bump up to guys like a Kevin Huerter, Lou Williams, and Bogdanovich. All three of which can really get you there in a hurry, shooting-wise on DraftKings. Can really shoot the three ball. And like I said, I do like this matchup taken on Chicago. So all three of these guys do pique my interest. Lou Williams a little bit on the limited side when it comes to minutes. Bogdanovich really playing a lot of minutes. Kevin Huerter playing more. So those two guys specifically I would like, more than Lou will. And then, of course, Trae Young at night, too. If there's no Clint Capella, he's going to take on a lot more responsibility. And I do think will be a great play in this one for sure. And then on the other side, I'm not worried about the Atlanta defense. So Nikola Vucevic, Zach LaVine continue to be number 1 and number 2. I'm really looking to pay up for them on the Chicago side. Getting a lot of usage. Zach LaVine priced down to 7-8. We were paying like $9K for this guy at one point. Just went out there and put up 57 DraftKings points. That's the kind of upside he's capable of. And I do think that having Nikola Vucevic on the team is going to take away some attention from him and actually really benefit him. So I like him. Thad Young at 6'2", the next guy you could be looking to. But he's not really playing enough minutes. I mean, 6'2" is not the most expensive in the world, and he has put up like 40 DraftKings points before. So he's a viable option. It's just getting a little more sketchy and lower market and priced all the way down to 4.4. Looking at his game logs, he's only playing around 20 minutes a game, so it's becoming a little bit tough to rely on him. Really do like the payoff options in Vucevic and Zach LaVine. Philadelphia taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. This should be a good one. This game comes in right now with a 227 over-under, 7.5-point spread in favor of the Philadelphia 76ers. We got Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris on the Philly side. They get a great matchup taking on this New Orleans side. Ben Simmons continues to be the one I'm going to be fading out of the group. He's just too priced up. The production hasn't been there. I'm looking to play Joel Embiid number 1 and then Tobias Harris number 2. Joel Embiid priced up for good reason. The guy's an absolute fantasy point per minute beast, so like him. Tobias Harris at 8K, have no issues with it. And then on the New Orleans side, depending upon who's in, we're going to know who to run it back with. Brandon Ingram listed as questionable. Lonzo Ball listed as questionable. If those guys are out, it's just going to be even more usage to go around. Two guys like a Zion Williamson and Eric Bledsoe. They're going to be really relied on. Steven Adams, they're going to need his defense to take on the likes of Joel Embiid, so he'll be out there. James Johnson at 5'4". All these guys become much more intriguing plays the more injuries become confirmed on the New Orleans side, so definitely will like them quite a bit, specifically Zion, of course, if all those guys are out, going to be relying on very heavily, and then Eric Bledsoe at 6'4". Charlotte taking on Milwaukee. Giannis is listed as questionable in this one right now. It's tough to say if he's going to be back. He's missed 3 straight games. So keep an eye on that injury report. Obviously, that's big news. As far as the total in this game and the spread, it's a 225.5 over-under with an 8.5-point spread in favor of the Milwaukee Bucks. If Giannis is out, of course, we're really going to like Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton a lot more than we typically would if Giannis was in. And they both become just really high priorities on the slate, as well as a guy like a Bobby Portis and a Dante DiVincenzo. Both of them going to be even better plays as well. So definitely keep an eye on that news. And then on the Charlotte side, they continue to be without Gordon Hayward, without LaMelo Ball, so that's going to increase the usage on their side. We got Terry Rozier, Devontae Graham, PJ Washington. Those 3 guys specifically going to really have a lot of interest in them, getting lots of minutes, lots of usage. And, with the injury news in this game, it's going to be really easy to stack up. You know exactly where the production is going, which always helps our case as far as in tournaments. And then you got Miles Bridges down here at 5'5" as well, who will be, relied on a lot more as well. So, all those guys on the Charlotte side, all those guys on the Milwaukee side in the upper to mid-price range are going to have a lot of interest in them if these injuries continue to force these guys out. San Antonio taking on Denver. This game comes in right now with a 218.5 over under 8-point spread in favor of the Denver Nuggets. Slow pace. Denver's expected to win this one pretty easily. And both teams are pretty well healthy, so I think I'm going to have to limit my exposure to this game. You got Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic. Jamal Murray's listed as questionable. Michael Porter Jr. playing very well recently, putting up like 40 DraftKings points a game. The problem is he's priced up to 7.2 now, which is, pretty appropriately priced for his upside in the game environment. So whether I really want to go there, not all too sure. You got Will Barton at 5.4. He's probably the most friendly priced out of the bunch, playing 30 minutes a game. He would be the one that I'm really looking to. Honestly, Will Barton, I think that is underpriced, and he's a very intriguing option in tournaments. Keldon Johnson, same will apply to him at 5.4. Not quite getting the same minutes, but he can get there in a hurry, and if he does get hot, he'll stay in the game a little bit longer. Popovich has a tendency to ride the hot hand. So, both those guys are going to be viable tournament options. Pay-up options, DeMar DeRozan, DeJounte Murray at 8K, 7.5. They're going to be the ones that have to keep their teams in the game, but the production just hasn't been there lately. It's kind of tough. DeJounte Murray would be my preferred one at the discount. And yeah, Nikola Jokic at 10.5 as a pay-up option. This one, not really sure I want to go there when we have a guy like Joel Embiid that we talked about earlier. I mean, Nikola Jokic just really good on a fantasy point per minute basis. It's just a price tag and a pace and a spread thing as far as Denver's expected to win this one fairly easily. Washington taking on Golden State. This game right now comes in with a 238.5 over under, a 4.5 point spread in favor of the Golden State Warriors. Bradley Beal listed as questionable in this one. He is listed as probable. Played last game out, played 30 minutes or so. Expecting to go again in this one. That is going to hurt Westbrook's upside slightly at 11K. But we did see him put up 68 DraftKings points last time out. Continues to be a triple-double machine, just absolutely going crazy out there. So he's worth a pay-up option pretty much every night. On the Golden State side, Stephen Curry at 9.9 I think is going to be well worth it in this game environment. It's going to be fast up-tempo. They're going to need him to stay in the game as always, and Washington just doesn't play very good defense. Andrew Wiggins, Rui Hachimura, 7.1 and 6.8 are the guys that are seeing lots of minutes as well. Rui Hachimura specifically at 6.8 I think is a great option just based upon the fact that he's like literally playing 40 minutes a game if they need him. Returned off an injury last time, only played 30 minutes. So keep an eye if he continues to play that much. I mean, not going to be as much of an interest. Kelly Oubre Jr. at 6.3. A little bit of a revenge narrative in this one, taking on his former team. I do like him quite a bit. I think he's underpriced. 6.3, really interesting option. And those are the guys I'd be looking to in this one. And lastly, the last game on the slate. Houston taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. This game right now comes in with a 224.5 over under, a 13.5 point spread in favor of the Los Angeles Clippers. This one should get ugly quickly. And for that reason, I have a hard time really having a lot of interest in a lot of these guys. DeMarcus Cousins at 5.5 signed with the Clippers. And as far as his first performance, he played 8 minutes, looked good, but he is taking on the Houston Rockets, the team that just let him go. I'm wondering if they're going to let him go crazy. And at 5.5, he could be an intriguing option. If the Clippers get ahead in this game, they just decide to let him run, maybe get some warm-up and get some revenge narrative, little bit of thing going there. So he's an interesting option. And then Kevin Porter Jr., Jayshawn Tate, Kelly Olynyk. If there continues to be no John Wall, these guys are going to be relied on very heavily. There is no John Wall. So I have no issues with you guys going to these Houston guys because they're going to have to play no matter what, even if it does turn into a guy like a Sterling Brown at 4.4, and so on. No issues. Avery Bradley, KJ Martin, DJ Augustine, if you have to go there. All could be viable tournament options I could get there if you need to go there and play the blowout route. With all that being said, that is all for my breakdown today. I got to give you guys my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be Kelly Oubre Jr. at this 6.3 price tag, taking on his former team in Washington. I had mentioned playing 37 and 37 minutes the last 2 times out. With lots of minutes to go around and in a great game environment taking on this Washington squad. I really do like Kelly Oubre at this price tag. I think he can really put up a big game, putting up 48 and 32 DraftKings points the last 2 times out. Still priced only at 6.3. That's too cheap. Taking on Atlanta and Milwaukee, continues to see a good game environment taking on this Washington squad tonight. And Kelly Oubre Jr. is my lock of the night. So there you have it, guys. Kelly Oubre, get him in your lineups, and that is all for me in this one. If you enjoy the content, if you please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I would greatly appreciate that. I wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.